Your first $100,000 is harder than your first million. I know, that sounds backwards, but it's 100% true, and I'm about to tell you why, and show you the 3 specific dollar amounts that will either make you wealthy or keep you stuck for life. But first, if I told you that one of these numbers could be hiding $890,000 from you, would you want to know which one? Of course you would. I'm Gatsby, and as a dog who's watched way too many humans leave money on the table, I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Let's go. Here's what nobody talks about. Most people think income is a straight line. You start at $40,000. You work hard. You make $50,000, then $60,000, then $70,000. Simple, right? Wrong. Your financial life has 3 specific breaking points, 3 milestones where everything changes. At $50,000, you can finally breathe. At $100,000, you can actually build wealth. At $200,000, you can create generational wealth. Miss one, you stay stuck. Hit all 3, you're printing money by your 40s. But here's the trap nobody warns you about. Each milestone requires a completely different strategy. The way you get from $35,000 to $50,000 will not get you to $100,000. And the way you get from $100,000 to $200,000, that's a whole different game. I've watched humans try to use the same playbook at every level. It never works. They plateau at $60,000, $80,000, sometimes $100,000, and they have no idea why. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what changes at each milestone and exactly how to hit all 3 before age 40. This is the roadmap I wish someone gave me. Except I'm a dog, so I'd replace it with treats. But you need this. Let's start here. $50,000 per year. That's $4,166 per month before taxes, about $3,300 after taxes. Now let's look at what that actually looks like in the real world. Rent, $1,200. Car payment or transit, $400. Food, $400. Utilities, phone, internet, $200. Insurance, $300. Remaining, $800. That $800 is your margin. Below $50,000, you're in survival mode. 1 car repair wipes out your savings. 1 medical bill puts you in debt. You're not building wealth. You're just trying to make it to Friday. But at $50,000, for the first time, you have margin. You can save $500 and still have $300 for fun. You can start building an emergency fund. You can actually think about the future instead of just surviving the present. This is the foundation. You cannot skip it. You have to hit $50,000 before $100,000 matters. As a dog, I know what it's like to be hungry all the time. Anything below $50,000 is like having an empty food bowl. You can't think about anything except the next meal. At $50,000, the bowl is full. Now you can start thinking. Now you can start planning. That's the difference. But here's what nobody tells you about hitting $50,000. You don't negotiate your way there. You don't ask for a raise from $35,000 to $50,000. That doesn't work. The average raise at a company is 3 to 5% per year. If you're making $35,000, a 5% raise is $1,750. You'll be making $36,750. At that rate, it will take you 9 years to hit $50,000. But if you switch jobs, you can jump $10,000 to $15,000 immediately. Here's how. Step 1. Learn a high-income skill. Sales, coding, project management, accounting, skilled trades. These all pay $50,000 plus within 2 to 3 years. Step 2. Get certified. A $500 certification in Google Ads, Salesforce, or QuickBooks can add $10,000 to your salary immediately. Step 3. Move to a higher paying industry. Teachers make $45,000. Corporate trainers make $65,000. Same skill, different industry. Step 4. Negotiate your next job offer. Don't take the first number. Ask for $5,000 more. They'll usually meet you in the middle. The people who hit $50,000 fastest, they're the ones who switch jobs every 2 to 3 years in their 20s. Loyalty costs you money at this stage. As a dog, I'd switch families if one offered better treats. You should switch companies for better pay. Now let's talk about the big one, $100,000 per year, $8,333 per month before taxes, about $6,250 after taxes. Here's what changes. Rent, $2,000. You can afford a nicer place. Car, $500. Food, $600. Utilities, $250. Insurance, $400. Remaining, $2,500. That $2,500 is life-changing. This is where you can max out your 401k, max out your Roth IRA, save for a house, and still live comfortably. This is the income level where compound interest goes from nice to have to building a fortune. Let me show you the math. If you invest $2,000 per month starting at age 30, at age 50, $1.5 million. At age 65, $4.4 million at 10% returns. Below $100,000, you can save. Above $100,000, you can build wealth. There's a massive difference. It's not just a number. It's a completely different financial reality. As a dog, this is like going from one treat per day to an entire bag of treats. The math changes completely. Suddenly, I'm rich in dog years. But here's where most people screw up. They hit $100,000 and immediately upgrade everything. You're making $50,000. You live in a $1,200 apartment. You drive a 10-year-old car. You eat at home. You're saving $500 per month. Life is fine. Then you get the $100,000 job. Suddenly, you move to a $2,500 apartment. I deserve it. You lease a $600 per month car. I need to look professional. You eat out 5 times a week. I don't have time to cook. You subscribe to everything. I can afford it now. Your expenses go from $2,500 per month to $5,000 per month. You're making twice as much, but saving the same $500. This is lifestyle inflation, and it destroys your ability to build wealth. The people who become millionaires at $100,000 income, they're the ones who keep living like they make $60,000. They save $3,000 per month instead of $500. In 20 years, that's the difference between $1.8 million and $240,000. As a dog, if someone doubled my treats, I wouldn't eat them all immediately. I'd bury half for later, because I'm not an idiot. You shouldn't be either. Let me show you how to actually hit $100,000. Getting from $50,000 to $100,000 requires a different strategy than getting from $35,000 to $50,000. At this level, you need 1. Specialized expertise. You can't be a generalist anymore. You need to be the best at something specific. Data analysis, UX design, enterprise sales, project management. 2. Management or leadership. Individual contributors cap out at $80,000 to $90,000 in most fields. Managers start at $100,000. You need to lead people or projects. 3. High-value industries. Tech, finance, healthcare, legal. These industries pay $100,000 for roles that pay $60,000 elsewhere. 4. Negotiation skills. At this level, you should be negotiating every offer. $100,000 versus $110,000 is $200,000 over 20 years after raises and compound interest. 5. Side income. Many people hit $100,000 with a $75,000 job plus $25,000 in consulting, freelancing, or side hustles. Here's the timeline. If you're at $50,000 at age 25, you should hit $100,000 by age 32 to 35 if you're strategic. Average person, 15 years to go from 50,000 to 100,000. Strategic person, 7 to 10 years. The difference? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now the big one, $200,000 per year. $16,666 per month before taxes. About $11,500 after taxes. Let's be real. At this income, you can do basically anything. Your budget. Mortgage on a nice house, $3,500. Nice car, $800. Food, $1,200. Utilities and subscriptions, $500. Insurance, $600. Remaining, $4,900. That $4,900 per month is freedom. You can max out all retirement accounts, save for kids' college, pay extra on your mortgage, still have money left over for vacations and hobbies and giving. At $200,000, money stops being a source of stress. You're not worried about emergencies. You're not worried about retirement. You're building generational wealth. If you invest $2,500 per month from age 35 to 65, you'll have $6.1 million at retirement. Your kids won't have student loans. You can retire at 55 if you want. This is the American dream, not homeownership, financial freedom. As a dog, this is like having unlimited treats forever. I can't even comprehend this level of abundance. Here's the truth. Only 10% of American households make $200,000 or more. This is not an easy milestone, but it's achievable if you 1. Become an executive. VPs, directors, C-suite. These roles start at $150,000 and go to $300,000 plus. You need 10 to 15 years of experience and strong leadership skills. 2. Start a business. $200,000 in business income is easier than $200,000 as an employee. Consulting, agency work, SaaS, e-commerce. You keep all the profit. 3. Dual high incomes. 2 people making $100,000 each equals $200,000 household. This is the most common path. 4. High-value technical roles. Senior engineers, data scientists, specialized doctors, experienced lawyers. These hit $200,000 in their late 30s/early 40s. 5. Sales with commission. Enterprise sales reps regularly make $200,000 plus with base plus commission. High stress, high reward. Here's why most people don't hit $200,000. They stop pushing after $100,000. They get comfortable. They think $100,000 is enough. And honestly, it is enough to live well. But it's not enough to build serious wealth in 15 to 20 years. The people who hit $200,000 are the ones who keep learning, keep switching jobs, keep negotiating, and keep taking calculated risks after they hit $100,000. But here's the thing. The cost of these mistakes depends heavily on your age. And that's what nobody talks about. A $50,000 mistake at age 25 costs you millions in compound interest by age 65. The same $50,000 mistake at age 45? You can recover from it. You have maybe 20 years to make it back. Your 20s are for taking risks and maximizing income growth. Your 30s are for building the wealth foundation. Your 40s are for optimizing and accelerating. Your 50s are for maximizing your final push. The strategy that works at 25 will not work at 45, and the mistakes you can afford at 45 will destroy you at 25. At age 22 to 25, you have time on your side, Every dollar you invest now is worth $17 by age 65. Your mistakes are cheap. Your opportunities are expensive. This is the decade to take risks, switch jobs, learn skills, and push aggressively for income growth. Don't play it safe. You're literally losing money by playing it safe. At age 26 to 35, this is your wealth building decade. Your income should be climbing fast. Your expenses should be staying flat. Your investments should be accelerating. If you're not making $100,000 by 35, that needs to be your single focus. Everything else is secondary. At age 36 to 45, the compound interest window is closing. You can't afford mistakes anymore, but you still have 20 years. If you're behind, this is your last decade to catch up aggressively. Sell the expensive car, downsize the house, max out everything. This is crunch time. At age 46 to 55, your final push. You're probably at peak earning potential. The question is, are you maximizing it? Every year counts twice as much now, and if you've done it right, you might be able to retire early, but only if you've been strategic. The point is this: where you are in life determines what these milestones mean to you. A $50,000 mistake at 25 is a $2 million mistake at 65. The same mistake at 45 is recoverable. So let me make this specific to where you are right now. If you're in your 20s, focus on hitting $50,000 by 25 and $100,000 by 32. Switch jobs aggressively. Learn high-income skills. Don't get comfortable. The moves you make now determine your 30s. If you're in your 30s, if you're below $100,000, that's your only goal. Get to $100,000 by 35. Push for $150,000 to $200,000 by 40. Don't plateau. This is your wealth building decade. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Age 22 to 25, $35,000 to $50,000. Your entry level. You switch jobs 2 to 3 times. You learn high-income skills. You live cheap and save aggressively. Age 25 to 32, $50,000 to $100,000. You specialize. You move into management or become an expert. You switch jobs every 3 years for 15 to 20% raises. You invest heavily. Age 32 to 40, $100,000 to $200,000. You're senior level or you start a side business. You negotiate hard. You take on leadership. You might switch industries for higher pay. Age 40 plus, $200,000 plus. You're an executive, business owner, or dual high-income household. You're building generational wealth. This is the realistic timeline for someone who's strategic. It takes 15 to 18 years to go from $35,000 to $200,000 if you're aggressive. But here's what most people do. They hit $60,000 at 28 and stay there until 40. Then they panic because they're not wealthy. The difference? The strategic person earned $2.1 million more over those 18 years. After investing that difference, they have $1.8 million in assets by 40. The comfortable person has $120,000 saved. As a dog, I wait for dinner every single day. You should wait for raises and promotions by constantly improving. Let me tell you what ruins most people at each milestone. At $50,000, lifestyle creep. You hit $50,000 and immediately upgrade to a nicer apartment and a newer car. You should be living like you make $40,000 and saving the difference. At $100,000, the comfort trap. You think $100,000 is rich, so you stop pushing. You stay at the same company for 10 years. You don't negotiate. You plateau. Meanwhile, your peers who keep switching jobs are making $150,000. At $200,000, tax ignorance. You're paying $50,000 plus in taxes and doing nothing about it. You should have an LLC, max out retirement accounts, use tax loss harvesting, have a CPA. You're leaving $15,000 on the table every year. The pattern. At each milestone, you get comfortable and stop optimizing. The people who build wealth, they keep optimizing at every level. As a dog, I never get comfortable with one treat. I always want more treats. You should never get comfortable with one income level. Always push for more. Let's make this specific to where you are right now. If you're in your 20s, focus on hitting $50,000 by 25 and $100,000 by 32. Switch jobs aggressively. Learn high-income skills. Don't get comfortable. The moves you make now determine your 30s. If you're in your 30s, if you're below $100,000, that's your only goal. Get to $100,000 by 35. If you're above $100,000, push for $150,000 to $200,000 by 40. Don't plateau. This is your wealth-building decade. If you're in your 40s, if you're below $100,000, it's not too late, but you need to move fast. Switch industries, start a business, get serious about advancement. If you're above $100,000, focus on maximizing tax efficiency and retirement contributions. You have 20 years until retirement to build wealth. If you're in your 50s, focus on maximizing income in your final working decade. Don't coast. Get to the highest salary you can, then retire early if possible. Every extra $20,000 in income now is $400,000 in retirement savings over 10 years. Here's what I'm not supposed to say. Your income is your responsibility, not your employer's, not the economy's, not the government's, yours. If you're stuck at $45,000 for 5 years, that's on you. You didn't learn new skills. You didn't switch jobs. You didn't negotiate. You got comfortable. I'm a dog. I can't increase my treat income. But you? You have opposable thumbs and a brain. You can learn to code. You can switch to sales. You can start a business. You can move to a higher paying city. The 3 milestones, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, are all achievable for most people if they're strategic. But most people aren't strategic. They're comfortable. And comfortable doesn't build wealth. So here's my challenge. Look at your current income. Now ask yourself, what would I need to do to double it in 5 years? The answer is usually switch jobs 2 to 3 times, learn a high-income skill, or start a side business. So why aren't you doing that? The 3 income milestones that change everything. $50,000 to survive. $100,000 to build wealth. $200,000 to build generational wealth. And the way you hit each one is completely different. Don't get comfortable at any level. If this video made you realize you've been plateauing, subscribe to Gatsby Gains. I'm a dog teaching humans about money, and based on these numbers, most of you need to switch jobs immediately. See you in the next one, and start updating that resume.